Hey everyone, I'm Adrian Stanley, the Managing Director of Publishers at Digital Science. I suspect many of you know digital science, but one of the sort of core beliefs that we have is that we believe that new challenges are facing research need a new approach. Research needs to move out of the sort of cottage industry. This is how our sort of current portfolio of 16 companies' products we work with, many of those were sort of formed out of researchers addressing challenges and problems. For those of you perhaps a little more familiar, our sort of publisher portfolio, just as a background, on the left we've got Altmetric, Overleaf Dimensions, Recube, you'll know those. But there are many of our products that do work in the pure research, there's the lab safety, the computer robotics. One point I wanted to just highlight before I go into sort of the detail of my talk is the Dimensions product is actually our first product that's been actually built out of 6 of the portfolio companies. So that's the sort of first time we started off investing in each product and idea and company and giving grants, but we've created the Dimensions product. For those of you that don't know it, it's a linked knowledge research database. Has lots of grants, patents, clinical trials data. Anyway, the really fun part about my job, which I love the most, is being on a team of people that review our Catalyst grants. So part of this talk really here is looking what's coming through the new pipeline. Every year we give out around 3 grants every 6 months, up to $30,000. That doesn't mean we get any stake in these companies. Many of them are just very early stage ideas that we see along. We have now a great pipeline of kind of global applications that come through that we get to look and see what problems researchers are trying to resolve. So from this context, this is where I'm kind of going to highlight a couple of areas where we see some of the sort of future direction and things coming. This slide, as I told my colleague that helped me proofread here, isn't an error. It is supposed to say reproducibility. Many of you, I'm sure, are aware of the sort of crisis around science being more reproducible. And thanks to Leslie, who's in the audience over here, the first company I'm going to talk to, Catalyst grant winner, who we just actually did make an investment in this week, is Repeta. They have a great solution, and actually Leslie is talking tomorrow, so I'm not going to steal a thunder or go too deep into this, but they have a great system, in essence, for creating a credit report for scientific publications to assess how reproducible they are. You can sort of see here that the sort of traffic light system where at the early stage, in the 2007 program here, there was a lot of reds and yellows, and then as someone started using the Repeta system to analyze documents, you get a lot of greens. So you could see it as a submission base, as a funder base for putting in certain procedures and protocols that the articles published you could be a lot more reassured that they can be reproduced. At a level you can run Repeta over a kind of group of documents or single manuscripts. I think this is a whole lot of potential to go forward in many different ways, but I'm going to let Leslie finish. She's sat at the top corner there if anybody wants to meet and talk more about Leslie and Repeta. The next company, again, may not be on your radars. It actually wasn't on mine till about 6 months ago, and they're DC-based, but Gigantum, they're a product that makes sharing and extending data-driven research and data science more easily. Collective projects where you can work together, share the data, share the code. Imagine yourself connecting to research projects on Gigantum where you can, in essence, begin to think about creating a living article. So where researchers interact. I had another couple of slides, but these must be. So with the gigantum one, and again, actually, I didn't know this until 2 days ago, but Tyler, who's one of the co-founders, is also talking here tomorrow. So it's either great planning or a little bit of overlap, but you'll hear a lot more about Giganta now. I'm sure in the future you'll hear more about it. I've recently got to know them a lot better. I'm going to switch now from sort of reproducibility of science, and again, I'm sure there are many other products that help address that challenge. Those are two I just wanted to highlight to you, and just touch a little on artificial intelligence. I'm just going to give two very practical kind of examples we've seen. There are many, many more, I'm sure, in different areas. But one company we gave a grant to, an early stage grant, is based out of Japan called Paper Digest. And in essence, what they do with artificial intelligence is create a lay summary of the article. Now, they were sort of addressing that due to their needs also as non-native speakers, but I can imagine, and wherever Charlie is in the audience, with Kudos, Paper Digest and Kudos talking together, creating lay summaries of articles more automatically to broaden the scope of who's reading research and where and how, and making that sort of investment in research to a broader audience. SciAI is another company that uses AI. They kind of use AI to dig deeper into analytics and algorithms and look through research literature to test out hypotheses can be validated. So from this angle, the founder here, who I know fairly well, is interested in ways how we might find cures for Alzheimer's, but finding hidden connections between articles, between sciences, between different areas of the research. And I just think of you as publishers who are probably sat on a goldmine of content, having no way to sort of see the links and connections between some of the documents and research you have. And researchers the same way, being able to sort of shortcut their way to finding sort of research projects and hopefully cures for disease. So again, I think this is a lot of potential. A couple of things just very quickly. We were asked to look at this is just about my last slide, look into the future. Two of our latest Catalyst grants, one of them is actually a company called Seismic that help match people looking for jobs and researchers with companies who are looking to fill in a very nice kind of data-driven way, in a diversity inclusion way. And I think their approach is really novel. So I'm excited about them. Rationale also look into reproducibility. Now, when I was asked to sort of think about the future, and this is something we've thought about a little bit at Digital Science, I think technology and everything that technology can do isn't really the main challenge to how things are going to develop in the future. The culture is, and how we sort of bring people together around new innovations or where the drivers come from. So from my perspective, we need to be thinking about the culture. I saw a great post yesterday, actually, by Kevin Cohn that said, and it was a play on what Jeff Bezos had said, which what is not going to change in the next 10 years? And the three highlights for that were good customer service, interoperability, and data-driven insights. So I think at the sort of core of where you're thinking, if you've got all those within your business and your business models, and you're thinking that way, then when you approach the future, hopefully you're going at it in the right direction. Actually, one very last slide, Roger. Sorry about that. That's good. But this is an interesting slide I borrowed from a colleague, but what it's in essence saying, if you can't see, but there's, you can kind of get 92% of the way to a diagnostic success with algorithms. Humans can get 96% of the way to a sort of diagnostic success, but if you match humans and algorithms, you can get to 99.5%. So I do think with all the technology, computers, we do still need the human input, the creativity, the insights, how to use these technologies. So from that, I'll leave it there and hand over to you, Roger. Thanks.